Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 3 of Ultimate X-Men, the 2024 series. Now, as you know, the 2024 run of Ultimate X-Men takes inspirations from Japanese stories and other manga-like stories, from Death Note, Uzumaki, as well as other Japanese horror titles, but using it in the style of the X-Men. And yeah, the cover has Hitsuko as well as May in this sort of next story. And it starts off with basically Hitsuko and her friends playing a sort of Japanese game, and this is kind of like fortune telling or using a sort of Ouija board. Obviously, yeah, fortune telling you what's gonna happen, or obviously Ouija boards communicating with the dead. And we do kind of see how they take turns seeing what their fortune's gonna be. And we see how Hitsuko noticed this one strange kid who's obviously meant to be this sort of antagonist from the last issue. And we see one of them saying, "It's my turn, I want to ask about my boyfriend." "Hey, Saraka, who is that guy?" "What are you talking about? I thought you invited him." And right away, Hitsuko knows there's something strange about this guy. And we see how 2 years later, Hitsuko and May are obviously talking about what happened during the last events of issue 2, and we kind of see how, yeah, even basically Hitsuko basically asks May about her wind powers and how they came to be, but you can tell there's more truths about May than there is. And it takes place several months ago, where she's reading news about the Freedom Fighter Storm. Now, if you have read Ultimate Black Panther, she has been in that series, and obviously, yeah, the sort of new Ultimate X-Men story has kind of shown that, yeah, Black Panther has his own series, the same way they're kind of introducing Storm and other X-Men characters slowly. And we see how May's mum calls her for breakfast, and you get a sense as soon as she comes in, obviously it's clear that her dad's meant to be a little distant. We kind of see how May's mum's a bit more trying to keep the family together, saying, "Here's your tea, and May, on your way home, can you stop by the neighbors and introduce yourself? Let them know we just moved. It's important to make a good impression." "What? It's been several months. Why do I have to?" And yeah, I can understand sometimes doing the whole thing to be a good neighbor is to introduce yourself, obviously introduce each other, and so forth. And you get a sense that May's dad is obviously trying to kind of expect the family to do what they need to do, sort things out, and so forth. And we see how as soon as May makes her way to school, she notices that obviously her cat's terrified. And we see how she meets one of these sort of neighbors who says, "My cat." And right away, it's the guy from obviously issue 2. And we see how May says, "Sorry to bother you. I'm May Aragashi. My family moved next door a month ago. Is this your cat? Is he okay? He seems scared and painted." And I think it's kind of like the same way you would kind of go to an apartment complex or the neighborhood. There's always something strange about the neighbors, something off-putting. But we see how after she gets scratched by, obviously, this guy's cat, he says, "Sorry, I'll discipline the cat." And May ends up getting cut. Obviously makes her way back home, not wanting to worry her mum. And of course, as she's falling asleep, trying to heal from her wound, she ends up getting woken up from her parents arguing. And we see how May says, "Are you two at it again? If you're gonna fight, can you not wake me up? It's not like I can eat with you yelling at each other." "He won't answer to anything. It's like I don't exist. You won't even look at me when I'm talking." "Then leave him. Who needs him anyway?" And of course, yeah, May understandably makes the situation worse. And you can kind of tell from May's mum's perspective, not only is this disrespectful, but obviously her father's obviously had enough with everything going on. He's reached his breaking point. And like I say, when you reach your parents' breaking point, they're going to do something they might regret, or won't. And of course, slaps her across the face. And obviously, it's like what I say. If a parent has reached their breaking point with you, they make it clear to shut up, be quiet, or to tell you to drop it if it has gone to that point. And because of May acting on her emotions and not seeing things from her parents' perspective, ends up obviously going full on storm mode. And of course, the room left in tatters. And yeah, you can kind of see how even her mum starts to question it. And I love the look on her face saying, "What the hell did you just do?" And her hair obviously turns white. And we see her father saying, "I don't need punks like you in my house. Get out!" And obviously this can be the same with most parents. If your kid's being disrespectful, dishonest, or obviously they've reached that point where they feel like they've reached their limits with you, it's gonna happen. And obviously May realizing she's basically questioning her powers, of course, it ends up getting hit by a ball and meets other people. And obviously this is meant to be the ultimate version of Psylocke. But of course, we see how due to her family and that being kind of sidekicks, there's hints right away that she knows that they're mutants, obviously setting up to the events of issue 4. And obviously showing the sort of Japanese stuff, like obviously chopsticks for the Horigori-san, which is obviously meant to be like the sort of Asian counterpart to obviously fortune telling and also Ouija boards, also like the sort of fox-like statues, as obviously the Japanese counterparts to sort of things like fairies, sprites, and so forth from old folklore stories. And this was pretty much issue 3. So I think issue 3 isn't too bad. I can see where they're trying to set up Hatsuko as well as May to be this version of Charles Xavier and Magneto, given their different upbringings, how their parents brought them up, and showing a difference between how they sort of handled their powers, responsibilities, and so forth. It's definitely good, definitely interesting, and obviously it becomes clear it's taken a break from the whole Xavier versus Magneto thing to do something a lot better, a lot fresh, and obviously breaking away from the status quo to do a different story. So I think this one definitely deserves a thumbs up. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.